We applied for 5, so she gives us 6.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, and each of the cause numbers, according to the plea bargain agreement, the state is opposed to your application. And it states in here that this is running concurrent with CM 105821.
And I think, Judge, that's one of the 2 cases, I think back when this pled, that waiver number may not have existed. So
Yes.
They just use the CM instead.
All right. And they're taking in consideration CM 104043, NIMAG number 712122 and 712121. All right, state, you are opposed?
Yes, Judge.
All right, any witnesses from either side?
Just my client, Judge.
All right, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Renee Cantu.
All right, defense, you
Good
may
morning.
proceed with direct examination.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Mr. Cantu. How old are you, sir?
I am 33 years old.
Okay. And are you currently on probation in this court?
Yes, I am.
All right, and what are you on probation for?
I am on probation for a possession of manufactured delivered 4 to 200 grams that happened, I believe, in 2021.
Okay. Now, when you applied for probation in that case, which the court just ordered up, all of the matters that you've taken care of with Mr. Neil Cordero, they were all pending and included in the PSI that the court placed you on probation for. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
All in 2021.
But since that time, most of those cases, the majority of those cases have been disposed of, either taking them into consideration or just outright dismissed.
Correct.
And now you're before the court on 2 of the cases that were pending before we even applied for probation in the case that you're on probation
Oh,
for.
yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, is it true and correct that since the court has placed you on probation, no violations of your probation have ever been filed or have occurred?
That's correct, not one. And I've been on this monitor for 3 years and since then.
All right. So-
Good.
You're on a monitor for 3 years, no violations of the monitor.
Correct.
You've been drug tested for 3 years and no violations of any drug testing.
At
You've
all.
been, suffice it to say, 100% clean
Correct.
and in 100% compliance and in obedience with the court's probation.
Correct. And I don't know if the court remembers, but they gave me like a list of 9 things to do.
Correct.
Like intensive outpatient treatment, 12 weeks, a 90-day program, like just 9 separate things, but I've completed all of them. So yeah.
All right. And are you gainfully employed?
Yes, sir, I am.
Are you full-time employed?
I sure am.
And so suffice it to say that on page 2 of this PSI, the court was informed of this myriad of cases that occurred prior to you being placed on probation.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew that before, since 2021.
And obviously, these cases are now disposed of, except for 2 that are before the court today.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. So have any negative consequences occurred in your life since the court placed you on probation?
Not with
The court.
the court, but with myself, of course. I'm like, so when I wrote the court a few times ago, I really didn't mean disrespect when I said, I'm not one of these hoodlum thumbs or thugs. I really did mean that. Like, I used to
Be a
mess up.
hoodlum.
Yes.
You used to be a hoodlum thug.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what you're saying.
So, like, I didn't mean it in a bad way, no offense, but I thought I was Billy Badass, excuse my language, but obviously that wasn't for me. So that's why I have done everything good now, because that life was stupid.
Okay,
like,
so here's the thing. This is the point that the court wants everybody to get to. Number 1, when he was placed on probation in this court for that drug case,
Mhm.
the state was silent to his application.
Mhm.
When I accepted that plea, I was not given any of the facts of this because these were unindicted cases.
Correct.
So I would like for us to get to the point as to the drug dealing,
Mhm.
because when the stipulations that were entered into, that everybody agreed, these are the steps. He's selling drugs and he's moving a large quantity of drugs. That's why this is over, I think, 200 grams. And the case that he's on probation for is not. The case that he's on probation for is, I think, 4,200.
Correct.
And these are over 200 grams.
Judge, when the offense that he's on probation for occurred, he was involved in drugs, clearly. They're all stated on page 2 of the old PSI. And Your Honor, all of that is history. And it is obviously known to this court by virtue of the fact that since you have been in control of his life, placed him on a monitor 3 years ago, he has respected all the rules and regulations of the law and of this court. And so we cannot deny his history. It is there before you. It was for you clearly when you respectfully granted him his probation. Judge, he has made a 100% turnaround from the life that he was living. That is not who he is today. And he has 3 years of sobriety to show for his really a miraculous turnaround. Can I finish?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we respectfully submit that he has proven to this court in every way that he is sober, he is gainfully employed, he is making an honest living for maybe the first time, and all due to this court's surveillance and this court's observations and this court's control. There is no reason to believe that he cannot successfully complete any term of probation that you would consider placing him on. To incarcerate him after he's made such a significant change in his life, Judge. I mean, this is a success case. We don't have a lot of them in this world of ours, but he has proven himself in every single way imaginable to this court. So the purpose of the state being opposed to his probation, well, clearly, historically, I respect their position. But to oppose probation today, after the man has lived a law-abiding life, a peaceful life, and a hard-working, diligent life as far as being lawfully, gainfully employed, to throw all of that in the toilet and incarcerate him would serve what purpose? I mean, clearly punishment is punishment, but probably God is the only person who knows how much he has punished himself over his young years. You know where his father is. His father's in the penitentiary for dealing drugs. You know from the last hearing when we asked you for probation, this man is grown up in CPS world, going from home to home to home to home. Not a mom, not a dad.
Okay. I understand your arguments,
yeah.
but do you have any more questions for him?
Yes. Do you believe that going to the penitentiary after you changed your life would benefit you?
Not at all.
Do you believe that it would benefit anybody in this courtroom or anybody in the community because after 3 years of sobriety, now you're locked up? Would that help society?
No, that would be kind of dumb.
Okay, well, Are you a contributing member to this community today?
Oh, yes. For the past 3 years, yes. Now I pay tax. I do everything legally now.
Oh.
Kind of side note. So, yes, I just want you to hear for my own mouth.
That's fine, there's no question.
All right, so I tell you what, counsel, if you finish your
Yeah.
questions, then I'll allow State to
Thank you, Judge.
do cross-examination, and then
I'll
if
pass
there's
the witness,
anything
Judge.
you wish to address with the court, you can. State, it's your cross.
Judge, sir, just looking very quickly at this PSI, well, one, did you review it with your attorney?
Yes.
Well, we're aware that during one portion it says the defendant denied suffering any abuse as a child and reported CPS was not involved in his childhood.
No, I was in CPS for from 9 to about 17 years old.
So why would it be in the PSI that your attorney didn't object to that CPS wasn't involved? And this is all stuff that they're getting directly from you.
I was in Child Protective Services from St. PJ's, from St. Jude's. Yeah, like I could name them, Low Ridge.
Okay. So just going back, also looking at your criminal history, you agree with me, you have quite an extensive criminal history.
Yes, sir, I do agree with you.
And being out of Denver, it would be a assault to drugging victim where you did get probation. You were given 4 years probation, and that probation was revoked.
That was like a lesser charge. It was a regular fight, except to like a plea. Like the plea that I had, it had to be something about drugging.
You have that in your criminal.
Oh yes, when I was 19 years old, I'm 33 now. I was a teenager.
Okay. And again, it was revoked on that back in 2020, correct? It says right here in the PSI.
The case happened in December 21st, 2014.
He straight up tells the court, "Yeah, I used to be a hoodland thug. Thought I was Billy Badass. But now, total 180. 3 years of probation, all programs completed, full-time job. Basically showing the judge that the old life is dead, and a new chapter is running the
I
show."
believe
One
it happened when I was 19 years old.
other thing I wanted to ask or get into really quickly was what's changed? What exactly has changed?
I grew up. I'm not kidding anymore. I was hurt. I was angry. And I know I can't blame anybody for my childhood. Like he's like, yeah, your mom's dead. Your dad's. Who cares? I'm an adult now. Get over it. You have stuff to do. You have to be an adult. You have a job. You have everything. Be a man.
At the time of this offense, the offense that you're here before the court, who was living with you at that home?
I was actually hopping around at that time.
Okay.
So I did need money. So I was trying any little way, to get money at that when that happened.
And again, this is after you've already been arrested for other cases and already had issues with drugs in the past. Is that correct?
No, I've never had a drug issue at all in my lifetime until these drug cases. Never in my life. So once again, that drugging victim is a regular fight out of Denver, Colorado when I was 19, except the plea had to be assault with drugging victim, but there was like no drugs involved at all. That was just like part of the plea.
Okay. Nothing further from the state judge.
All right, any other questions?
That's all, Judge.
All right, I have a question.
Yes, Judge.
So everybody, when they come before me, they're always talking about me, 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 me. My question is, what do you think was happening with the drugs you were selling?
What happened? Say it again. I'm
What
sorry.
do you think was happening with the drugs you were selling? What do you think they were going?
Hurting lives.
Mm-hmm. And you continued.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And why were you selling drugs?
Because I needed money and I believe I had a job working at a warehouse, and I went from making like $6,000 a week to maybe $300-400. So that was not. I was so used to like living with $3,000 or $4,000 for my rent, for everything. So I started like panicking, like, oh, dude, I need money, So that's when I thought I was Billy Badass, and I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. So walk me through this. So you are working.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you reach out to somebody saying, hey, I want to sell some drugs for you?
So I was kind of in the ghetto, the west side, and it's not hard at all. Like you literally just go right there on Sasamo Guadalupe. Hey, dude, what do you want? You have everything there. So, of course, I initiated. I'm like, hey, I need some money. Like, what can I do? And then yeah, that's how it. I'm like, okay, you want to work? Well, here we go. And literally, like the second time, that's when the officers like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm an officer. Like shit.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, court will hear argument.
Judge, the state's going to argue here that I think he should at least get the 10-year minimum. These are a lot of drug cases that are all coming in very rapid succession. He also has a very extensive criminal history. The state asked what's changed between now and then, and there really wasn't an answer that was given. There was no details as to what he's done, other than being on under court supervision, where he knows if he tests positive for drugs, that's something that can get him in trouble. If he does anything out of line or commits another offense, that's something that's just going to make it worse for him. So again, it's something that we haven't really had any details of what exactly has changed. So the state would ask for 10 years in the prison.
All right.
Judge, his entire criminal history was known to the state when this court placed him on probation. Nothing negative has occurred. Everything positive has occurred. This is a successful probationer. This is someone who has changed his life around. I don't understand the logic. What has changed? This man has changed. The man before you, Exhibit A, has changed. His entire criminal history is spelled out very clearly when the same state of Texas recommended probation.
Or at least silent.
Or remain silent. And no objection at that time was offered by the state when this court granted him probation. Judge, this court, has helped him, as he said in here. Why do you want to be on probation? And he said, because it'll be my mentor. And you, whether you have agreed to or not, have been his mentor. You, whether you knew it or not, have had a very positive impact on this man's life. And Judge, I can't underestimate the
How
strength.
did he start selling drugs? Simple money panic. His paycheck dropped, lifestyle too expensive, so he thought he was Billy Badass. Until the police swooped in. Courtroom honesty level 100. It's one thing to make mistakes. It's another to own them like this.